All right, so we're gonna name this video Strong Business Advice because, well, if I would have known some of this stuff, I would have been in a lot better position than I am now, but, oh, somebody's lighting off some fireworks. So, you know what that means, right? I mean, somebody in the Nextdoor app or Facebook, local group Facebook's gonna be like, typing in their keyboard ninja. Did you guys hear those gunshots last night? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm not even gonna edit that out. That's just gonna stay in there. All right, let's roll it. All right, you know I'm sure you know you're gonna see it if you guys are on Nextdoor app or those local Facebook groups, which you should be. If you're in business for yourself, you should be, you know, taking advantage of those free sources to market your business, all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, let's get into it. Facts don't care about your feelings, and a contract doesn't care about what the customer assumed or thought was included or didn't know was included or anything, you name it. So I'll say it once, have a contract. And it saved my butt so many times. But like even before we even doing jobs, I had a customer, a large project. They reached out to me like, hey, we thought that, you know, we didn't see the countertops included in the contract. Well, in my notes, and they're not included because, for one, I don't do granite countertops. And he was like, well, I was like, we already had, my notes said, had a conversation. You don't know what you wanted to do at the time. I left it out. It's not even, you know, going to be a third party installation. And he's like, well, we knew we wanted to go with granite. I'm like, great. That was definitely a third party installation because I don't do granite. So that's an additional cost you're going to have to incur, kind of thing. So contract, communication, fantastic. Now, the main, the main phrase I like to use, kind of jokingly, but kind of not, is I stole it from like a 1990s movie. I think a pretty bad movie. I think Deep Rising or something. There's an actor who said that if the cash is there, we do not care. And to a certain extent, that's true. And and then you can get yourself in a lot of trouble if you follow that to a T. But at the same time, like if anything is possible with time and budget. That's what I tell customers. So yeah, we can do that. Do I have the time to do it, for one, like, because I have other work to do. So, and that's in the contract. Hey, I can decline change orders. And do you have the budget? Because any change order, there's no discounted change orders. Let's get that to the rest. There's no discounted change orders. It's full price or even higher. And that's, I mean, if the cash is there, we don't care. But at the same time, does the customer have the budget do I have the time for whatever they want to do? So that's another phrase I like going by, and I also kind of look at that, and I say it to myself all the time, and I also ask myself that question: hey, do I have the time for this? Do I have do I have the resources? Can I get this done? And if I can, what's my cost? And what's my cost at a 50% or higher gross profit? So, all right, so the next one will be: most people are not your customers. Most people who reach out to you are not your ideal customers. You might make them your customer, but it's going to hurt you in the long run. I just got done with one of the longest job. I think the longest job. It's dragging out, I think, almost 2 years because material delays, picky customer, change order, like 15 or 16 change orders were finally done. I absolutely lost money on this deal. It was only a $45,000 job to begin with. And I looked at it because we just, finalized everything. I printed, the estimate was from like 2020. So we're in 2022, in case you guys are wondering if you're watching this video in the future. We're in 2022. So yeah, lots of, granted, with COVID, they had COVID, I was sick. I took vacations, we went to, I think, Florida, so over a couple of years, over a year or so, there's a lot of delays, plus waiting 5 months for a window, all that kind of stuff. But they shouldn't have been my customer at all in the first place. My wife, I remember my wife was telling me, like, don't do this job. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine, for one, I wanted the money, because $45,000, even though nowadays it's not the biggest job in the world, but back then, like 2 years ago for me, that's a decent sized job. So that's how much business grows, right? So yeah, my next one will be that money buys happiness. Money is pretty much the number one thing in a business. Now I'm saying money by having in business, in small business, in the contracting world, you got to have money first and foremost. It makes everything else in business run smooth or smoother or just plain great. Absolutely great. Last year sucked for me. This year, guess what? I have some money. So it's definitely not, it's not sucking nearly as much for sure. So matter of fact, it's the opposite of sucking. We're actually growing and thriving. So it's been great. So, and what has changed? Money. So that's, come on. That's basically what it is. Ask yourself right now, like, what would happen if you gave yourself 5% raise? Like, what if you just raise your prices? If you're in the service business, if you just raise your price, you have your estimate, boom, there it is. Like, that's the amount. Why don't you just tack on, just add 5%. Just add 5% and see what happens. Like, what would happen? Now, I'll go into it right now. I guess you raise your prices, but at the same time, I always add 5% to everything because I accept credit cards. And that would be my next one I'm rolling into. You need to accept credit cards. I would recommend not going. I used to use Square for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years. It's Square for small businesses or small amounts is okay. It worked for me. But once I actually started to actually grow my business, like last year and then this year too, they are not user friendly. They froze my account and they wanted me to audit myself or something so I don't have time for that. So I would recommend not going with Square. If you're going to run large volumes of money through it, like we're talking like $5,000-$10,000 transactions, except, deposits. Now, if you're just the handyman going $200-$300, it worked fine for me when I was doing that. Right. So, but once I grew, they are not user friendly. They make it harder for, I want service. If I'm paying money, like I'm paying the 2.93% for them to take a credit card, I want my life to be easier, which it is, but I don't want them causing me more work, which they were. So I dropped them like a bad habit, and I went with Swipe Simple. It's through my bank, Comerica Bank. No problems, absolutely no problems. We've run through. It's over $40,000, $50,000 this year already through credit cards. So, and then no problems whatsoever. This is the way it needs to be. That's absolutely, but you need to make it easy for your customers or for people to give you money. So if you're only accepting cash or check, you are a weekend warrior and you don't want money. I've gotten jobs because I accepted credit cards, like literally decks. I got to tell them, hey, we accept credit cards. Oh, you accept credit cards? Yeah. Everything except for, I think every credit card we accept. So it's like, they're like, all right, now I can actually do it, or I can add this, like it was an extra $3,000 here, extra $4,000 here, because they can swipe a credit card, get some mileage and points and stuff, and they're happy. I'm happy. I already added that 5% on, for that credit card fee anyway, because I do it to every job. So it's not money coming out of my bank. It's not coming money off of my bottom line. It was already attached. So do it that way. So yeah, make it easy for your customers or people to contact you to give you money. That's, if you're only accepting cash or check, come on. Like, this is not 1990s and 1980s. Like, that's the people who are the weekend warrior, don't want to sign W-9s, are not licensed, want to stay under the radar. I get it. If you want to do that, fantastic. There's a market for that, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table because of what I just said. So I've gotten a couple large jobs this year, and I got a couple people ask me, they're like, how do you do these huge jobs? And of course I'm subbing work out, but any large job or any job really can be broken down into smaller jobs. And once you do those smaller jobs and get those completed, that large job starts to either shrink or starts to actually get completed like over time, but at the same time it's still getting completed. So huge, basement jobs, huge, we're doing additions, building garages, stuff like that. And I've had a couple of people ask me, like, how do you know where to start, blah, blah, blah. You just break it down. Like, the first thing I got to do is make sure the job is paid for. So collect deposit, sign contract, correct payment installments, and then go pull permits. And then after that, then we can, start to you got to build it from the ground up, right? You can't build the second story before you build the first story. Well, we don't. So anyways, that's you just smaller jobs, and you can just nibble at the bigger job as it comes down. So once you get the foundation, you know, it just progresses up, and then pretty soon that job's done, right? So that's how I do big jobs. And if you are wondering how did I do jobs that I'd never done before, I hire them out and watch them be done, and then I know kind of how to do it. So I'll set someone who's done it before, you know, ask them how much they're going to cost, you know, how much they're going to charge me. Cool. I take that amount, put my percentage on top of it, tell the customer, they approve it, and then they take care of the job. I look at it, see how it's done. Boom. I got a little, I know I'm not saying I can do it as proficient as they can, but at least I have more education on how it's actually done, how much time it actually took them. So if I do want to do the work, I can see and I have a little better frame of reference on what it takes to get that job done. So my last one is what I don't always do this. I will say this right off the bat. I'll snitch on myself. I don't always do this, but I try my hardest to do it. As far as if you have a bunch of work ahead of you, do the hardest thing or the thing you least like to do first. Get it done first, because the hardest thing usually takes me the longest. And usually for me, I'm not the best on plumbing. So if I have a job and I'm taking care of it, I'll do the plumbing first, because I want to make sure it's right, no leaks whatsoever. Make sure all my copper and solder fittings and everything are done. I don't use shark bites. Just solder everything, you know, PEX, whatever. Make sure there's no leaking, and then I can go on my merry way and keep doing everything else that I need to do, and then I can circle back, make sure there's still no more leaks, stuff like that. So if you don't like drywall, you can't really do drywall before you do framing or anything. But at the same time, if you can, do the job, do the task that you least like to do first. That way, once you're done with that and it's done, you can move on to either the easier things that take off a lot less time, or the things you actually enjoy and you have something to look forward to. So, I mean, that's my way. If I tackle something, there's things I don't like to do, I'll do them first. Now, the same thing goes for, say, difficult conversations or customers, or if you got a certain amount of tasks to do, and you got to talk to this person, you got to tell this person to, you know, to bleep off, all this kind of, do the things, like, don't let anything fester. Just take care of it right away. If a customer sends you, like I have like a little Excel spreadsheet of, you know, like material lists that, you know, like bigger projects, customers have allotments for their materials. I sent it over, and it was the wrong numbers, because I copied and pasted, and for some reason it didn't save it correctly. So they came, you know, you got kind of a frustrated text message saying, hey, this number, I can't, you know, pick out a vanity and a toilet for $500, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and then she's like, I feel duped, blah, blah, blah. So I saw that text, I stopped what I was doing, and I looked, I was like, yeah, that's not right. I mean, it was supposed to be like over twice that amount, actually. So I was like, all right, no problem. I went and looked. I said, hey, sorry, these are the wrong numbers. Here's the right numbers. I called them, and I just took care of it right then. I did not let anything fester. You just go right at it, and if there's any problems with anything, you take care of it right up front, because you don't want anything to fester, because that's when, even for me, like if worrying about something is the hardest part, I'll just take care of it right away. That way it's behind me. I can get on with my day, and if there's anything else that needs to be addressed, I can address that as well later down the road, or, you know, keep at it, keep attacking the problem, all that kind of stuff. So don't let anything fester. Especially with customers, you know, if they have a criticism, take it right, you know, address it right away. And I had a problem with last week as well with a subcontractor and a customer, and I wanted to address it. It wasn't like, okay, well, you know, let the subcontractor get out. No, I was like, we need to address this right now. You lay everything out on the table. This is what's going to happen. This is what's not going to happen, and this is how we move forward. And better for it, absolutely. That way, I can get on my day. I'm not thinking about it all day. I can just keep going and not worry about it. Basically, it's been handled. Just handle it. So I think I've rambled enough, guys. Appreciate it. If you guys have anything else to add to this conversation, in the comment section below. I also have, you can email me if you want to. I'll leave all that information, you know, my contract, all that information, Patreon page, everything will be in the description below. I appreciate it. Thank you.